Welcome to Minutes That Matter. In this video, we will learn how to make and manage a member server. Now, to deal with this lab, you need two computers, one domain controller and the other is a member server. Now, to configure a member server, we need a fresh computer with Windows Server operating system running in it. Now you can see that I am installing Windows Server 2016 Data Center Edition in a new virtual machine. Once the installation is complete, we need to do the post-installation configuration steps, that is, installing the drivers, renaming the computer, setting the IP address, and also setting date and time settings. Okay, the installation is complete. We will assign a password for the administrator and log in as administrator. Let's install the VM tools. Now, if you want to see a detailed video about how to install a Windows server on a virtual machine, you can see the very first video in this series. Before we use this computer as a member server, after installing the VM tools and changing the name of the computer, we will shut down the computer and take a snapshot so that we can use this computer for any other lab. Now we can see that I am going to configure the IPv4 address on this computer. Let's say I am using an IP address which is going to conflict with some other computer over the network. Then this computer or this network adapter will be getting an APIPA IP address. Now APIPA stands for Automatic Private IP Address. Now here preferred DNS is the IP address of our domain controller and alternate DNS is the IP address of our additional domain controller. Now to check whether the IP address is properly assigned or not, we can refresh the server manager and see the Ethernet settings. Notice I got an APIPA address. Now to remove APIPA address, we can either disable or enable the NIC to solve the problem. If that is not enough, then we can change the IP address on the computer and then disable and enable the NIC to solve the problem. So you can see that the IP address is conflicting with some other network adapter, hence I am changing the IP address to 7. Now once it is done, we can disable and enable the NIC to remove the APIPA address. Remember, APIPA address is not used for network communication. You can see the problem has resolved. Now let's add this computer to the domain. To do so, we'll give in the member of parameters of the domain india.com. Obviously, it's going to give us a warning saying that the similar computer name may exist. Now, if you see any other error like this, it could be either due to two possible reasons. One, due to your network adapter, if the network adapter is not enabled, if it is disabled, or the NIC IP address is wrong, it's in a different network, or your domain controller is not reachable. In any of these possible reasons, you may get the similar error. Now you can see I just logged into the server and that solved the problem. So if the domain controller is not reachable, if the services are not running, then also you may get this error. Now you can see I got the username password prompt to allow the computer to be part of the domain. Now I'm mentioning the username, that is administrator's username and password of india.com. If the username and password are correct, then we'll get a welcome message from the domain india.com. There you go. We got the welcome message from india.com. Now, to actually use this computer properly, we have to restart this server so that it can act as a member server, and also we can manage it from the domain controller itself. Now let's log in. Now notice this administrator account, if it shows just administrator, that means it's a local administrator, not the domain administrator. If you want to log in as a domain administrator, you need to mention the SAM administrator account name, that is India/administrator and then password. Now let's go to the server, that is our domain controller here, and in the domain controller we can check a couple of things, or we can in fact manage this server, the member server, from our domain controller. Now I can start by creating a server group. I'll call it as my servers, and right now I have one server listed, that is server 01, and I'm adding that to my group. We can manage the other servers or domain controllers from that group. That is one method. You can see I got a new group created called my servers. Now that is one method of managing another domain controller or member server. Now there is another way. So let's power on another domain controller, that is server 02. Now you need not power on server 02 if at all you are running with a low RAM. But in this lab, I just wanted to show you how we can connect or manage other domain controllers from our own server. Now you can see I'm adding Active Directory machines. Now notice server 03 and server 05 actually don't have Active Directory in them, but I'm still adding them to my Active Directory group. So when the server manager refreshes itself, it tries to communicate with server 02 and server 03 to see if there are any updates available. If they are not reachable, we'll get an error message. Let's check. You can see if at all I want to configure a server with any application or a role or a feature, I can choose to do that right from here. So I need not actually connect onto the console window of the specific server. Notice server 03 is not even powered on. Hence, we get the error message, the target computer not accessible. So to avoid this, we can delete or remove that server from our list. Okay, server 05, we can manage it right from here. Now you can see server 02 actually got Active Directory installed in it, which is our domain controller. Hence, we got list of options which we can use on server 02, or list of commands or list of consoles which we can access from server 02 right on our computer. Now you can see if I want to install a new role, I can choose server 05 and then proceed with the installation. Though I have logged into a domain controller, I can manage other servers from this window. Now right now, to avoid any unnecessary errors, I am removing that server 05 or server 5 from my list, as because I am going to shut it down anyway, and if the server 05 is in a shutdown state, every time when server manager refreshes, we will get the error server not reachable. In our next video, we will see how to manage multiple DNS servers in our DNS topic. That is a different way of managing member servers. In this video, we have seen how to make and manage a member server. Thank you for watching.